Hey guys, welcome to Treadmill Review Guru. Today we are going to discuss some important safety tips regarding how to use your treadmill. So a treadmill is a great way to get exercise at home, and in many ways it's safer than exercising outdoors, but there are a few safety precautions to keep in mind both before, during, and after you use your treadmill. So let's dive in and take a closer look at some of our recommended tips. Hey guys, first thing, let's discuss some safety tips that you should do before you get on your treadmill. The first one is read the owner's manual all the way through. An owner's manual should come with every treadmill, and sometimes manufacturers will also email you a digital copy that you can file away for later. But the owner's manual, in addition to providing information about assembly, has important details on where the plug is located up underneath the machine, how to turn it on and off, what happens to that treadmill when it goes into idle mode. It also provides an overview of the console so you know the different ways in which your treadmill can be started. So it's very important to read the owner's manual through completely before you get on your machine. The second thing you want to do before you use your treadmill is verify the amount of space the treadmill takes and that you have enough space where you plan to put it. So whenever you are looking at a treadmill, you not only want to take into account the footprint, but how you're going to get on and off it. You don't want to place a treadmill in a high traffic area. Even if it's folded, you don't want people walking underneath it or around it all the time. The other thing to make sure is that you measure the treadmill from its highest incline and your tallest user. So most treadmills will include information regarding how high that deck lifts you at the highest incline. In all of our reviews, I include that information. And then you'll want to measure from your tallest user, make sure that you have an extra several inches for head bounce and other things. You also want to look for ceiling fans. Watch for ceiling fans, don't place it near that. Watch for drapes that hang low, cords that retract blinds or shades. Those can hang down, and we don't want those to be close to the treadmill. So there's a few things to take into consideration regarding where you place your treadmill prior to using it. The third thing to do prior to using your treadmill is make sure that you get the treadmill that is best for you and all the users in your home. If you have multiple users that are planning to use the treadmill, account for the hours of daily use. So even if you plan to walk, but you have 2 other users in your home, that could add up to 3 hours of daily use. So just make sure that your treadmill is appropriately powered. The second thing you want to do is make sure that you verify the max weight capacity on that treadmill. Even if you plan to lose weight, don't get a treadmill that you're right at the cusp of that weight capacity. We have several options that will support users up to 400 pounds. So there's lots of different variations that you can get in a treadmill. Just make sure that it will support your overall weight. The other thing is make sure that the treadmill belt itself is long enough for all the users in your home. We recommend that users over 6 feet look for a treadmill belt that is at least 20 inches wide and 60 inches long to make sure you have room for a full stride. So those are a few things to look for before you buy your treadmill. All right. Step number 2, once you are on your treadmill, here are a few safety tips to using your treadmill appropriately. The very first thing you want to do is when you get on the treadmill, grab that safety key. The safety key is the most important component of your treadmill. When it is removed, it immediately deactivates the treadmill. So even right now that it's not doing anything, it says, uh-oh, your treadmill has stopped. So most safety keys will come kind of pre-wrapped. And what you want to do is take that key, you put half of it on your clothing somewhere, and then you attach the other half to the console. And now my console will work, but if I step off that machine or if I lift up that safety key, the treadmill is immediately going to stop. That is your first and most important safety precaution. The second one is once you're on the machine, make sure that you are familiar with the console, that you know how to operate the different programs, that you know what the buttons do. You don't want to inadvertently hit 10 speed thinking you're hitting 10 incline and all of a sudden that belt's going really fast. So familiarize yourself with your console and make sure you know where the buttons are and what they do. The other thing is always use precautions when getting on and off your treadmill. So I'm going to disattach this. But if I'm getting on my treadmill, I want to use the handrail and step onto the side rails first. They provide a nice foothold on either side. Then once I'm ready to go, I'm going to step on the belt. You never want to step up on the treadmill with the belt already going. And if you're going really, really fast and that belt's moving really fast, the side rails are a good place to stand while you allow that belt to drop back down in speed. But what you don't want to do is have the belt going really fast and then all of a sudden try to jump on a moving belt. Never do that. Always slow the belt down, make sure that it's back to a walking pace before you step back on it. The other thing you want to do is when you're on your treadmill, pay attention. It's easy to get distracted when you're at home. You've got kids, people talking to you, maybe the phone rings or the doorbell dings or something like that. Pay attention to what you're doing. We all know that our gaze directs your stride. So if you're walking along, even if you don't mean to, if I look left, my stride is inadvertently going to go left. And then you can brush up against that side rail and maybe trip. So stay focused on where you are. If you have a treadmill that doesn't have a touch screen and you're watching a TV, make sure that your gaze is straight ahead. We also recommend slowing the treadmill down to a walking pace when you plan to take a drink. Don't try to drink while you're running full pace. If you use a sweat rag or something to wipe off, make sure that that rag doesn't get dropped down underneath the treadmill where it could get stuck in between the belt and the side rail or anything like that. Be careful with any sort of a sweat rag or anything and make sure that it's securely set to the side so it's not going to fall. Also, we've all seen the treadmill fails where somebody's up there and they try to take their clothes off while they're walking and then they fall and go everywhere. So if you need to adjust your clothing, make sure that you stop, get off, take your clothing off, and then don't use your treadmill as a hanger, right? We don't want to put towels or shirts or jackets on the treadmill. If you take off a piece of clothing, throw it off to the side where it's going to be out of the way. The other thing to do is always make sure that you are dressed appropriately. Check your shoelaces, check and make sure that you don't have any free-flowing clothing that is going to fall off or get caught in anything. And just pay attention to where you are and what you're doing each time you use the treadmill. If you are wearing headphones while you're on your treadmill, you need to make sure that you can hear ambient noise around you. Also, if you're using wired headphones and they're connected to the console, be very cognizant of how you are tethered to that console. The other thing is if at any point you start to feel unstable, fatigued, or woozy, stop your treadmill and get off. If you're exercising outside, your body will naturally slow down. However, if you're on a treadmill, that belt's going to keep going whether you're fatigued or not. So to avoid injury, always make sure that you adjust the speed based on how you're feeling that day and don't try to just match an incompatible pace. The third thing we want to discuss is what to do after you've completed your workout. So once you're done and you've saved all your stats and you've gone through your cool down, you're going to get off your machine. The first thing you want to do is remove the safety key. The safety key you should always take away from the treadmill and store somewhere else out of reach and out of sight. That just makes it so that a child or someone can't come restart that treadmill without you knowing about it. The second thing that you want to do is make sure that you've completely turned off your treadmill. Now, some treadmills will have a power switch up on the console. Other treadmills have a power switch down below. Very often it's the same point where the cord goes up into the treadmill. So I'm going to turn off my treadmill, and then you want to unplug your treadmill. Once you've unplugged it, tuck the cord up so that it's not just dangling out to the side. Now you completely turned your machine off and you have several barriers of protection before someone can inadvertently turn it on. Once I've turned it off and unplugged it, if your treadmill folds and you plan to fold it all the way up and verify that it is locked and cannot be knocked over. So you want to make sure it's completely locked. And then if you have a specific room that is dedicated to your fitness equipment, make sure that you exit and lock the room behind you. Of course, we don't all have that luxury, but if you do, that is one excellent way to keep everyone safe after you're done using your treadmill. So in conclusion, treadmills can be exceptionally safe. They are safer than running outdoors in many ways, and they provide opportunities for people to be able to exercise at home at their convenience. But we do want to emphasize the fact that with a few safety tips, you can keep you and your family safe. Just make sure that you familiarize yourself both before, during, and after treadmill use with a certain safety protocol. For more information, check us out at treadmillReviewGuru.com. We have a full blog post on important safety treadmill tips. If you have a question, leave it down below or a comment. And as always, if you liked our video, make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. My name's Kristen with Treadmill Review Guru, and we'll see you again soon.